We have Alexander here. Says, hi, Mehran. How are you? Thank you, Alexander. Hope you're doing well as well. And he says, Alex, male 35, how to deal with fearful thoughts who I suppress it for a long time and now it is stronger. No, but what fearful thoughts, such as what? Loved one dying or getting in an accident or something happens. What is it that you suppress? Because if it's a thought, you should know a thought comes and goes and all kinds of it, thousands of them every day, 80, 90,000 of them are made by the brain, but it's irrelevant to you. It's brain's thoughts. It's not your choice. And among all those thoughts that are created, fearful or not, you have a choice to choose them, act on them, or let them die by the wayside and just move on. Take notice of it if it's important or fearful or stimulate you in one way or another, and then be mindful of what it is. It's a thought, and that's what the brain does. Instead of giving it a character or an existence and an intellect of its own, and recognize for what it is. Okay, it's like you passing by a street, you see a turd on the corner of the street, and you're thinking that turd is a person or it's alive. It can do things by itself. It can become you. It can jump and at your face rather than thinking, oh, it's a turd in the corner of the street. Okay, I saw it. I'm mindful of it. I won't step on it and I'll walk by. That's the extent of it. But when you give it importance as if they are an entity above you or that can control you or affect you rather than you being able to affect the thought, the thing, because you're the only person in the world that can allow any thought to turn into any action or actuality or let them just be ignored and move on by being mindful of the fact that this is a thought. It doesn't have any existence. It's a virtual imagination, uttering, suggestion. That's all. It doesn't have a character. It's not a person. It's not an entity. You're the only one that can turn any of these secretions or any of these fictitious or productions or suggestions and bring it into real life in real actuality by your actions or not. You are the power, not the brain, not what the brain creates, not the thoughts, not the suggestions, not the feelings, none of that. Because you live by your vetoes and choices, not by suggestion, thoughts, and images and all not that other people suggest or your brain conjures up. Now, having said that, we continue, says, and now is powerful than me. How? How could a fucking thought be powerful than you? You creating some kind of a belief, which is suggested by OCD, by fear, and you think by giving into it, becoming submissive to a thought, then you're being looked upon as a weak person and would have mercy on you, as if the thought is an entity. It's a fucking non existent emotion. That's all. Expression of an emotion. And thought itself leads into emotion. That's a different topic that we have had. I have a video on what is thinking, what is thought, where does it come from? And beside the explanation of what thought is, then there's a chapter, there's a matter of the brain being in a glitch of OCD and malfunctioning, so it doesn't have that discipline that is designed to have, so it just splurges out thoughts without you being aware of it or having anything to do with it or sanction it or approving of it or wanting of it or inviting it. So you have to understand that the brain can go nuts as well. And brain going nuts, it's up to you to recognize it's gone nuts. So I'm not going to pay attention to whatever it suggests. It's like you have a friend that is crazy and says shit things. You're driving, says, "Oh, let's head into that building." Well, what? You're going to listen to that? No, you hear it and you're mindful that this is nuts, this is stupid, and I'm not going to allow it to become a reality by actually crashing into that house or that building or whatever it is that it's suggesting. So you got to be judging the thoughts, not complying to what the thought suggests or conjures up, or the brain conjures up as if it's an intellect or it's above you. You're above it. You judge thoughts according to your principles, values, and what it is that you hold sacred, and your whole persona and what you are all about, how you function, how you direct yourself. You have certain criterias, and that's how you operate. Not by something shows up. You gauge it. What the fuck is it? That's irrelevant. That's unreasonable. It's crazy. All right. You're giving too much credit to the brain. Brain is an organ. Fucks up. No different than the intestine. Gets diarrhea. Brain gets diarrhea. Just all kind of nonsense. That's why you have so many mental issues, among every one of us. Some severe, needs, certain kind of care and medication. Some these kinds that we can cognitively understand and analyze and educate ourselves about OCD, HOCD, brain, and so on. All these researchers, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Leibet, Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, all these researchers, neuroscientists, neurosurgeons, philosophical point of view, scientific point of views. You got to educate yourself and find out about how this goddamn thing works and doesn't work, malfunctions. And you got to become the mechanic of your own machine. Otherwise, everything it conjures up, you're supposed to run after it, see what it means. Well, it's a crazy person up here as well. Give it too much credit as if it's a know-it-all. All right. So I need a specific example to understand exactly what you're meaning. Or perhaps I already answered your question, how to deal with these things, because you're looking for a certain conclusion to analyze the thought and make a decision what to do about it, rather than, in most cases, there's nothing to be done about it. Just the fact that recognizing it's a thought and it's a crazy thought, it's not invited, it's not in line with your values, it's not something that you would sanction or something you would act on it. That's the end of that. There's no need, and it can happen in a nanosecond. And then, of course, to rewire your brain, you can refer to Dr. Schwartz's 4-step how to deal with OCD, relabel, reframe, refocus, and revalue, which the revalue portion happens automatically after you have learned how to automatically relabel, reframe, refocus, and then revalue takes place. That's when the brain does all these 3 steps in a jiffy right off the bat as the intrusive thought shows up. Anyhow, I have that video explaining the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz and the text of it. Whoever makes an appointment with me, I will also include and send you on Skype right away the text of the 4 steps, so you can always have it handy and can read it. Otherwise, the video is there. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.